Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about rifle stocks, and I'm going to give you my opinions for what I think makes a good rifle stock. Now, the first criteria for me is that it has to be an AR mil-spec, stock. Okay, even on this AK, right? I've got an AR style stock. I don't like the side folders. I don't like the under folders. I like a stock that's collapsible. I mean, I like it about that position there when I'm shooting. But if I put a woman on this, right, or a smaller person, basically they need to shorten this thing up, bring the gun a little bit closer to their body so it's less front heavy. So that's why one of the important things for me is that the stock be collapsible. Okay, so I don't care for side folders, under folders, none of that stuff. Just a collapsible stock. Okay, now I have a couple of different ARs here. So one of the great things about AR stocks is that you've got lots of different choices. Okay, it's very standardized. And by the way, there are two different types of AR stocks out there. There's what they call the commercial ones and the mil-spec ones. I think the commercial ones have been more or less phased out. So when you buy an AR, make sure that the buffer tube is mil-spec. You want to go as mil-spec as possible. You're just going to have a lot more choices. There's a tiny difference in the diameter. I forget which one's thicker, wider. One is slightly wider than the other. Not important. Just definitely recommend you just go with a mil-spec buffer tube that will take a mil-spec stock. Okay. Now, a lot of times when you guys are buying like the economy ARs, you get this cheapo stock over here. Okay. A typical problem that you're gonna have with this is you're gonna have some wobble. Okay. Which is not a big deal if you're standing here, you're going boom, 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 boom. That's not an issue. That's not much of an issue. Where it does make a difference is when you're trying to, take a very well-aimed shot at distance, right? And you're basically, that's where you really don't want any wobble. Okay, now they do make some stocks that have like a double locking mechanism where you have like one latch to unlock it and then the other latch to push it in. I don't like the double locking mechanism. The reason is because a lot of times if I want to quickly change this, it just becomes a pain in the ass, right? I have to do one, then undo the other. I want to be able to change this quickly to wherever I need it. Okay, so that's the next thing I'm going to say. I don't like double locking systems. I just like a single lock that's fairly quick to adjust and is it's on there's a minimal amount of wobble. This one's got some wobble on here, but it's not terrible. I think this one over here has a lot more wobble. Now there's ways to eliminate that. Basically, if you remove, I'll use this one. If you want to remove this, what you do is you basically just take this and you pull down on it, and this comes off completely, right? So what you can do is you can just pull this back a little bit, and you can get some rubberizing spray and just put a little spray on your buffer tube over here, and that's just going to make this a tiny bit thicker. I mean, you can also put like a little piece of duct tape in there or something like that, but I would just put like a little, just a little rubberizing spray over here. That's going to add a little extra friction and tighten this up. That's something that like I've done it. I haven't done it to all of these wobbly stocks, but that's a really easy, quick fix. Okay, to minimizing that wobble. So the wobble problem is not that big of a deal because you can kind of work around it. Okay, now one of the things that I prefer on my stocks is because the way I like to mount it, I like a QD point up over here, right? So I want a quick attach QD point. There you go. I'm in a bad position here. Oh, this one's really in there. Not so quick attach. There you go. All right, yeah. This one's got a little rust in there. But yeah, I like a quick attach QD point. Now this one is set up so that you can put it on either side, left side or right side. If I'm shooting right-handed, okay, it's in there. If I shoot right-handed, I want this on the outside, right? All right. The reason is because this way, when it hangs, the strap is on the outside. It helps control the gun. I can easily do transitions if I want to. So ideally, you want one that has a QD mounting socket in there that will go on either side, right? So That goes on this side now, right? So I can have it on this side. So if I'm on lefty, I'm going to want it on that side, right? So it's on this side. If I go back to righty, I'm going to switch this over to the other side. So that's the other thing that I like to have it. Now, if it doesn't have that, that's not a big deal, because what I do with all my cheapo stocks, like this one over here, right? I simply, I bought a socket, and you can see how I drilled it. I just put a washer and a nut and some Loctite, and I put, I put the QD socket where I needed it, okay? So that's really easy to do. So that's what I do with all my cheapo stocks. I don't throw them out. I just add the QD socket where I need it. And here's that's a cheaper one. You wouldn't expect it on that, but here's a Magpul one, which didn't have it, and you can see how I added that QD socket, right? You can see the nut on this side over here. Right now, obviously, this is only on one side. I mostly shoot the gun right-handed, so I want it on the outside, right? So that's really easy to do. I mean, these things, I think they cost something between, like, I don't know, about $10. $10, and I think it comes with the QD mount itself. So you get it complete. It comes like this. $10 or $15. You get it with this piece as well. So it's not terribly expensive. Easy to pull out, put on. You just drill it, put a washer in there. You can use a lock nut that has that little plastic in there that'll lock in place, or put some Loctite. And then what you can also do is you can just paint it, like I did with this one, right? I just took a little black paint. I just painted it so it wasn't as shiny. Matched the gun. Easy stuff to do, okay? Moving beyond that now, one of the things, and this is the main thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. When I'm shooting, among these different stocks, what I really like is this triangle. See how this comes down into a triangle? I like it to have this angle over here, okay? I want this, right, the release to be on the inside where it cannot be hit easily. I don't like it the way this is, which is exposed, and I'll explain to you guys why in a second. If I try to get into a sniper hold, right, especially if I have if I'm bagging the gun like this, right, with this angle over here, let me make sure you guys can see that. You guys can see that. If I turn the camera a little bit, here you go. So what I want to do, right, the nice thing about this angle here, bring this more to this side, right, is I can slide this up and down on this angle over here to get the perfect elevation. All right, and that really makes it easy for me to just, like, if I want to basically, raise up my reticle, I just move the bag slightly forward. If I want to drop it, I just pull the bag slightly back, right, and then I basically lock this into my chest, in your typical sniper hold, and that's how I control my height, right? And I can, even with the this is a brace over here, right? All right, this is a brace over here. Same idea, right? It's got that angle over there. So again, with my hand here or with the bag there, it makes it easy for me to make minor adjustments to the elevation, whether I want the dot a little bit higher or a little bit lower. But especially useful if you're on the bag, because you can just move this just a tiny little bit front to back, and you're just going to get it in that perfect position. And then you just basically lock the gun in, and you get really nice groups at distance. Okay. Now this one over here, let's move this gun out of the way. This one over here is kind of like that. It has a little, but so here's this thing. The release is here. Now this is a Magpul. This is nice and tight. This is real. I love the tightness on this, right? This has nice tightness. The way this is set up, this is the release is protected, so you're not going to accidentally hit it with your hand as you take that sniper hold, right? You're not going to accidentally hit it. So that works just fine, but it's a little bit too steep. So when you put this on the bag, when I put this on the bag, it's a little harder to get that height just perfect. So I prefer not, I prefer the triangle one that you saw before. Okay? I don't love this. This is, a little bit brighter. There you go. So I mean, I can kind of do it the same way, but I can't find adjustment, right? Because this angle here is so steep, it takes a bit more effort to make those fine adjustments in elevation compared to this one, which has that nice triangle, and I can just you know, move the bag a little front, a little back, make perfect adjustments, right? So that I really like this style over here. The one that I hate is El Cheapo over here, right? And it's not just because it's a cheap stock. The problem with this, now, if you notice, I've actually cut this, right? You see how I had to cut this over here, right? Because this basically used to come down a little bit more, to a little easier for you to, you know, move it. But the reason why I had to cut it is because when I would get into a sniper hold with this gun, and by the way, I have shot 3.5 inches at 200 yards with this gun right here, right? So when you get into a sniper hold, you can see how this basically sits on the bag, right? And what's going to happen is, and this actually happened to me one time while I was shooting, right? I'm aiming there, the gun went bang, the recoil basically triggered this, and the gun went boom right into my shoulder. It just completely collapsed. So it pressed down on here and went boom, like that, and it basically fully collapsed from the recoil because the adjustment lever was hitting the bag. Okay, so this is why that's a terrible design. I don't care for the fact that it's a little cheaper. I don't care for the fact that, you know, because, you know, you can work around all the other problems, right? Because you can see here, I added the QD socket, not a problem, right? As far as it's a little bit on the loose side, but I can always put a little rubberizing spray in here to create a little bit more friction, right? You know, but the problem is that when you take a sniper hold, your hand wants to basically go right there like that, and it's going to hit this. So that is the main thing that I think you guys want to concern yourself with, right? If you see yourself shooting at distance, if you're going to be taking that sniper hold, you want to make sure that the release here is not going to interfere with your hand. When you get into that position, you pull the gun into your chest like that. And for my money, I think this is the best design right here with that, because you can really get this perfect. Okay, pull that in. This is especially great if you're resting it on the bag. If you're not resting it on the bag, if you're just pulling this into your chest, this might be a little bit more comfortable because you can pull it tighter into your chest. But a lot of times, I'm resting on the bag, so I mean I can make either one work. I find that the triangle one, I find that this one works a lot better if you're working on the bag. This one over here, if you're not working on the bag, this one can be a little bit easier because you can kind of really push, you know, you can get your hand a little bit closer to your chest. So I can make either one work, but that's the thing to be aware of with this. If you're resting it on the bag, that's the thing you want to consider. You don't want this hitting that bag, because it's gonna, you know, on the recoil, it's gonna get activated, and the gun's just gonna, the stock is gonna completely collapse, and the gun's just gonna shorten itself up all the way. And the first time it happened to me, I'm like, whoa, what happened? You know, it almost felt like artillery going off. You know, when artillery, with the cannon comes back and it goes boof. That's exactly how that felt. It felt like boof. I'm like, holy crap, what happened? So, and this brace one isn't bad either. I prefer the SB. This is the SB4 brace. I like the SB4 brace compared to the SB3 brace. For the same thing, you know, if you're, I mean, I know you're not supposed to, shoulder these braces, but here's the thing: if you need to zero the gun in, right, and you know, you need to get the gun zero, you need to get it as stable as possible. So you got to rest the gun, you know, to get it as stable as possible, so you can zero it in, right? So I think that qualifies for the occasional touching that the ATF said that we can do. You know, if you need, you know, getting the gun zeroed, I think meets that criteria of occasional touching, right? The gun's got to be accurate, right? And then afterwards, you can easily take this stuff off. You know, magnifier comes off. This thing over here comes off easy. I don't have the key with me right now, but this obviously doesn't live on this, so that's really easy stuff. So a couple of things for you guys to consider, and I'm not saying that this is the best stock or that's the other best stock. Don't think of the video in those terms. What I'm kind of just giving you the cost benefits, the things that you know, the advantages that one stock is going to give you over another. I mean, there are certain advantages to the wobble stock, right? This has a lot of movement, but this also adjusts really quickly, right? I can adjust this a lot quicker than I can with this Magpul one, right? Now this one's really tight, absolutely no wobble, but you know, I can't quite adjust it as quickly. So there's going to always be a trade-off, okay? So, you know, you just got to figure out, collect all the information, right? Figure out what you're doing, and then figure out what's going to work best for you. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. Hit the bell button if you're, you know, so you can get the notifications. And also, make sure you guys subscribe to the new channel that I've set up, Absolute Guns. There's 2 strikes on this channel. It's a good chance this channel might disappear. You know, they might delete this channel off of YouTube, so make sure you guys get yourself over to the new channel that I set up, Absolute Guns. So if this channel goes, then you can still find me on the other one, okay? I'll talk to y'all soon.